from New York City going out, and also the Atlantic world from the St. Lawrence going out. And this is the natural pathway. And this is what John Burgoyne saw in England and convinced the King and Lord North that this was the way to separate all the troublemakers in New England from the rest of the colonies. Good morning and happy sunrise, as you can see. I'm here at Saratoga National Historical Park at the Visitor Center to appreciate the sunrise. My name is Sean Kelleher. I'm the historian in the town of Saratoga. I'm the vice chair of Saratoga 250, and I write Past Paths on Substack. And I wanted to tell you a little story about our landscape, which as the sun shines through here, causes a little bit of brightness in my image. So I'm going to just drop it down a little bit like this. But if you look out behind me, you can see the mountain ridges or the hill ridges on the other side of the Hudson River. The Hudson River is just below the site. If you see some little fencing to my left, the National Park Service is finishing up a construction project. Um, but this is an unbelievable vista. It was chosen by President Roosevelt as this was where the visitor center was going to go. Here we go. As I move this, I can see myself a little bit better. That's not necessarily the best. But basically, from the end of the 17th century, um, this was the natural warpath. Uh, Native people used it. The French certainly used it on its raids down through here into Schenectady. And then the English used it on their multiple attacks up to Quebec. Uh, and it's what John Burgoyne took advantage of. And it was what also really did him in. He was somewhat limited. Now, John Burgoyne, let's give him some credit. He tried to go beyond. He obviously captured the Lake Champlain area very, very quickly in July of 1777. And then he kind of got muddled, and Philip Schuyler kind of helped with that. Um, all the Continental troops kind of broke down the roads and made it very difficult. And then he decided that the best thing he could do was to try to get more supplies. And he went up into some tough terrain to get over towards Bennington. That didn't really work for him, but he tried, and he met up with the New England militia led by John Stark. That was a horrible fight, but John Stark and his New England men, many of them from Massachusetts and New Hampshire, they got the better of Burgoyne's troops. John Burgoyne wasn't there. Um, it was a number of German troops, royalist, some light infantry, but Stark showed them what they were about. Burgoyne decided to continue, and he met up with this roadblock of Gates's army. And all this was defined by the terrain. Luckily for General Gates, he had Kosciuszko with him, the Polish engineer, and they found just a spot to fortify Bemis Heights. They fortified that, and that was also really important because of the terrain. The river road took this weird jog that our fortifications, the American fortifications, were able to cover. You can't see it today. You can kind of see a little bit of it, but there was what was called a vai, which is a Dutch word for a swamp, which meant that the American troops had to move right right along the Hudson River, and then they took a jog across where the sod farm is, to be right underneath the heights of Bemis Heights. And the American artillery was there, so the British never really attempted to try to do that because they knew it just wasn't very good. They tried to do what they did at Ticonderoga and many other spots. They tried to go around the American army to take the flank. That's why the two battles here at Saratoga are so important, because the Americans left their strong fortifications and moved forward to stop the British from getting around them and getting to the heights. I like to say the Rocky Tuck Ridge. Anyhow, that is my story for today. Now, let me give you one little traveler's hint. If you're going to come out this weekend, then this should be a great weekend for getting out and enjoying the outside. Dress warmly. You know, it's 40 degrees out this morning, and stay on the paths, stay on the paved roads because this terrain is tough. The trails are closed. Ben Franklin found out what it was like to be stuck in the mud here 250 years ago, and he ended up having to spend 7 days that he wasn't planning on right in Saratoga. You don't want to do that. So until we meet again, hopefully, if you see me this weekend or next week at one of my many presentations, come up and say hi. Tell me that you've seen the Substack. But until we meet, I am your most humble and obedient servant, Sean Kelleher. Have a great day.